Hello again. What you're going to see, well, the main part of the video will be me walking the Abergawi State Forest, which is in North Queensland, not far from me. The Dalrymple Gap Walking Track. It should probably be called a hiking track because it's a hike. It's not a walk. Yeah, it's no way you can run it. You won't be able to run it because it's rugged. Like in some places, you're traipsing over bowling ball sized rocks or bigger. There's just in some parts of the track, and we're talking, you know, at steep inclines, and if you do not have strong ankles, don't attempt that track because that's an ankle turner. All right, I didn't turn ankles because it's very, very rare that I turn ankles. The only time I've ever turned an ankle is in doing sport, team sport. That's you know, like counting them number of times on one hand again. Same with the blister thing. Never get them. Now, in conjunction with that, the video of the walking track, I'm also going to do I'll review the gear that I carried. In the beginning, I'll do a review of the gear, and then you can watch the footage of the track. Now, first of all, if you are going to go into a park, pardon me, I'm having a Bex. Pardon me. If you're going to go into a park in Queensland and it is administered by the Queensland Park and Wildlife Service, you have to get it. You don't have to, but it is a requirement that you purchase a permit. Yeah, purchase. It costs money. It cost me for one night camping. It was $6.75, one adult, and if 2 nights is double that, pretty essentially anyway. So yeah. You can camp for as many nights as you want, but you've got to pay for each night. And you can buy a family permit. You can buy, and now I had a vehicle to actually get to the start of the track, or what next time I do it is going to be the end of the track. So I went arse about. Instead of starting at the Cardwell end and going to the Broadwater side, I started at the Broadwater side and went to the Cardwell end. And so I went both ways because I started at the Broadwater side, went to the Cardwell side, the Damper Creek pickup area. That's what it is. It's a pickup area, and then overnighted there, which I'm not supposed to. Well, there isn't a designated camping area. There's nothing stopping you from camping there. And then last night yesterday I went from the Damper Creek pickup area back to where my car was at the Broadwater entrance to the track. A little history. It's sort of, they reckon that it roughly meanders through an old Aboriginal traditional trail. Which was, they've obviously been there for thousands of years. They discovered the easiest way to cross over the Cardwell Range, which is what you cross over. You're crossing over a mountain range, and it's one thing that I wasn't aware is that there was clearly a lot of volcanism in that area because so much of the rock is volcanic rock. And one of the reasons why there's just there's so many rocks, and you'll see in the footage, there's just rocks everywhere, is what happens is, and like all the creek beds have just got, you know, everything from a grain of sand up to, you know, but car-sized boulders, you know, like you name it. It runs the gamut. What's happened is that the rock is all there under the ground everywhere, and due to the action of water erosion, all the dirt and sediment, whatever, is washed away, and you're just left with rocks. So all the creeks are just lined with rocks, and it can be a bit precarious getting over those creeks, rock hopping. In the beginning, you'll see I was taking off my boots and putting on a pair of just light sort of, yeah, light outdoor shoe sort of things that I wear to cross the creeks. Well, on the way back, I realised that, you know, that was just waste of time. It was nice to have a break and, you know, and clean your feet and whatever, but I didn't need to do that. On the way back, I just I had a stick and I rock hopped, because if you go a little bit further down from where the crossing is, a little bit further up, there's an area where there's plenty of rocks where you can rock hop over without, mind you, on the way back when I did that, I didn't have a pack on my back, so yeah, a heavy pack. And so I'll start off by reviewing just a few of the items at a time. I'm going to break the video up into probably, I don't know, maybe at least two parts, probably 3 parts, because there's a fair bit of footage there. Like I think something like, I don't know, 17 packets of film that I had on my memory card. I only used the Yi Light action cam. I was going to take this, but I wasn't sure, but I probably will next time. I will take it just for better footage. Although that, for the sound especially, because there's a lot of, in a lot of the film, and I did have some sound issues on some of the bits of film. I'd never experienced that before with that Yi Light, but yeah, have no idea why. And I couldn't, you know, it was one take only. Especially where I encountered other people on the trail. I only encountered one group, and that was a group of school kids from Abergarie College, boys' college. It was their year 12 group, and there was 2 school teachers. At least one of them was a PE teacher, physical education teacher. I don't know if the lady was. I'm assuming they both were. And yeah, so they were taking the group through there, but they were clearly having a lot of fun doing it. Mind you, all they were carrying was, you know, a little water bottle or something, and they encountered me carrying this massive pack, probably thinking, wow, this guy's nuts. Anyway, so yeah, so if you want to go in a Queensland Park Wildlife Service administered park, you have to get a permit. Like I said, you don't have to. You can do it illegally, but if you get caught, you know, and you're a smart ass or you're belligerent, you'll probably cop a fine, or who knows. I don't know. I've never encountered a park ranger in one of those parks, so yeah. But then I haven't spent a lot of time. I've been to the Broadwater waterhole, swimming hole quite a few times, but I think just to go there swimming for the day is okay. I don't think you have to get a permit for that. I don't know. So without further ado, I'll do a review. So I'll start from the ground up, and so this is the boots that I was wearing. I was originally going to wear a pair of Rocky snake-proof, they're almost knee-high waterproof boots, but I bought them quite a few years ago, and my foot must have gotten bigger because yeah, they were really uncomfortable. So I reverted back to these, which I have been wearing a fair bit. They are the Columbia Men's Newton Ridge 2. The model number is BI 3970-231 wide. Now, when you look at the toe, you think, yeah, that doesn't look very wide, but yeah, my foot is very, very comfortable in it. I think one of the reasons why I don't turn ankles is because I always wear footwear that's bigger. So instead of having something that is essentially an extension of my ankle, or literally a part of my foot, because it's so tight on there, and then when you get in the position to roll the ankle, you can't go anywhere. Well, with a loose fit, my foot does actually slide in the shoes, and I know some people probably get blisters from that, but I don't. And it's a lot more comfortable, and there's more airflow on that. So yeah, that's the Columbia Men's Newton Ridge 2. Newton Ridge 2. Now they're still dirty because and there's all salt, a bit of salt there where the sweat's come through. When was it? The day before I did the hike, I actually went and did a bit of a reconnaissance of the area, and did go through one creek crossing just with these on, and they got completely drenched because it was on the way back, and they pretty much dried out almost completely overnight, so they were all right to wear. So they dry out pretty quick. The inner sole is not removable. You can't change the inner sole, and that's fine because they are pretty good. They are, yeah, they are waterproof. That mesh tongue, that's not waterproof, but the leather is waterproof. So if you're getting into water, up to there or whatever, yeah, don't worry about it. They were extremely they're very, very light. They were extremely comfortable, I have to say. I highly recommend them. You're probably looking about 160 Australian. You probably get them, I don't know, for $100 in the States. I don't know. But I had a look online just before, and some people are selling them for about 200, but I wouldn't pay any more than $160 for them, because there's like, I think Anaconda are $160. That's where I got them. There's a plug for Anaconda, and I need it. The other thing, so they're excellent. The other thing that I took, which came in very handy, was the Lifestraw. This is the Lifestraw bottle. So that's the filter. So you put water in there to the maximum level it's got there. You put the filter in, tighten it, and that flips up, and you suck. And you don't have to suck hard. Because the filter's, there's quite a lot of surface area on that filter. It's quite long. You don't have to, go crazy with sucking. It comes out pretty easy. I'd like to get, and I probably will get the one where it's got the collapsible bag, so you can actually fill up the bag, connect up the filter, and squeeze it into a container. That way you can utilise it for cooking. Otherwise, it does, like, there's no water in there. It does, like, if you do that, it does come out, but you're going to be there for a long time trying to get that water out in the container. Or you can suck it out and spit it in the container, which, it's my spit, but still. So, so I will get that, like, from Scotty's Gone Walkabout. He's got one of those bag ones, and I'll get that. Now, one thing that I didn't take that I should have taken that I have is a walking pole. So this is a pretty good one. This is it's got a bit of a spring to it, got some bit of suspension to it. It's Mountain Designs Tread Plus walking pole. I've got two, but and Mountain Designs is owned by Anaconda, so you'll always get Mountain Designs stuff at Anaconda. So another plug. And I should have taken one of these. I didn't, but I would advise that if you are walking that track, I prefer just one. That way you can steady yourself with one, and if you are still going down, you can break your fall. Better to break it. I'd rather have a broken wrist than a broken skull. Yeah, and I've had a broken wrist. It is painful. One reason I had a look at a few different poles, and one reason that I picked these poles, is because of the construction of the handle. It is foam. It's a hard foam. Still got a bit of give, but it's a hard foam. All the others had that sort of rubbery, that squishy rubbery, and that stuff. Even the good stuff, it eventually turns to, like, slimy, sticky goo. Yeah, it just, in humidity, in a very humid environment like where I live, so I prefer something. That's why I picked it, and plus it was a pretty good price. They're not that expensive, and it's extremely light. When you don't need it, you can just stick it down the side of your pack, and it doesn't weigh a ton. It's very, very lighter than wood or anything. Let's see, what else? Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed the video. It is pretty long, so I'm going to break it down into probably 3 parts and be doing gear reviews in the beginning, and I hope you enjoy it. See you later. Okay, Dalrymple Walking Track. So It's essentially a walking track that goes all the way to Cardwell. So what does it say here? The Wagamai people, the traditional owners of the area, welcomes you to their country and ask that you respect their special place. I'll show respect, that's for sure. Over time, Aboriginal people and early European settlers have used this track for Aboriginal. For Aboriginal people, the track has cultural significance as it passes through the country of 3 different traditional owner groups. The Wagamai people on the southwest side of the range and their neighbours, the Ginamai and the Banjin people to the northeast. Traditionally, the Wagamai people use this track to traverse the Cardwell Range to attend ceremonies. And I just screwed up my hat. And meetings with neighbouring Aboriginal groups. They also use the track to gather forest resources such as fruit and plant materials. During the 1800s, European settlers began moving into the area to graze cattle. The closest port for their cattle was the township of Bowen, 360 kilometres to the south. In the early 1860s, a group of pastoralists, including George Dalrymple and the Scott brothers, established a port in Cardwell and built a road, connecting the new port to their properties. This road roughly followed the traditional Aboriginal track and is where the current walking track lies. So this used to be a road. Okay. The walking track, Dalrymple Gap Walking Track, takes you through varying forest types and settings. The first kilometre of the track is flat and winds through dry eucalypt forest before reaching Dalrymple Creek. Following the creek, the track then meanders through open eucalypt forest, which gradually changes to rainforest. As the track travels up the Cardwell Range, it passes a huge strangler fig, ficus, it doesn't say what kind of ficus, that reaches well above the forest canopy. At the top of the Dalrymple Gap is a historic brick-lined bridge. The bricks were brought from Scotland, and the bridge has an interesting stone-pitched face. The altitude and topography of this section of the track has caused the vegetation to be much drier. The rocks along the edge of the track show where they were drilled and split to widen the track. The last section of the track meanders along rainforest fringes, rainforest fringe creeks and open eucalypt forest. That'd be nice. Okay, the walking track. The Dalrymple Gap Walking Track is 10 kilometres, 6 hours one way. The 10 kilometre one-way track allows you to experience some of the beauty and diversity of Girringun National Park. Allow approximately 6 hours for this walk. You will need to arrange for a vehicle to meet you at the northern end of the walk near Cardwell. Why? I'm coming back the same way. Alternately, you can do the return walk to the first of many Dalrymple Creek crossings. This walk is gentle and will take you through the eucalypt forest found on this section of track facilities. In an effort to maintain a wilderness experience, facilities are not provided on this track. The nearest toilets and public camping areas are located at Broadwater, approximately 15 kilometres past the main entrance road. Alternately, toilets and picnic facilities are provided at 5 Mile Creek at the Cardwell end of Dalrymple Gap Walking Track. And I know 5 Mile Creek. That's another swimming spot. Now, so I don't know. I'll see how I go. Yesterday I came here and did a bit of a recce, and just to see exactly what the situation was with the conditions. And the conditions are, well, there's one good thing. No mosquitoes at all, which even when I was in the thick of the rainforest, there was no mosquitoes. So that was really good. Just adjusting my pack. And yeah, that was really, really good. So I knew that I wouldn't have a hard time of it. Now, I'll just show you my vehicle. And this park is maintained by the Queensland. You need one of those. It's a permit. It's not free. I think, how much was it? $6.75 or something for one person for one night. So it is not free. I know some people might say, oh, it should be free. Right, well, it's not. So that's the story. If you don't like it, you can complain to your local member of parliament about it, but you got to pay. Now, so I did a bit of a recce of it, and it's if you're planning to do this walk, in that explanation on that board, it really does not explain just how rough this walk is. Let me tell you, you'll see. I'll show you. You'll see. It's you know, unless you are fit, right, and reasonably agile, I would not advise going this walk. I would advise just go to the first creek crossing and then come back, and you know, that's about it. I would not advise doing the full walk. Like I said, if you're not fit and you're not used to walking over bowling ball sized rocks, you know, because there's a lot of it. Now, one other thing, if you are coming here, just be aware that the access road in is rough. There's certain spots where you literally cannot proceed without going through potholes, without going through a pothole. Okay, it's quite literally like that. Yeah, it's rough. What else can I say? I'm just adjusting my pack a bit more. Yeah, if, like I said, you want to have a bit of fitness under your belt, if you want to try this track, the full track anyway, and I haven't done the full track. I only did a bit of a recce. I got to the second creek crossing, which is, you're into full bore rainforest. It's jungle basically, and to get to there, I didn't have any problems. I was feeling good all the way, but yeah, if you want to proceed past that, that's probably, I don't know, it's probably a couple of kilometres in, I suppose. Now, so far it's pretty, this is pretty relaxed. No problems here. Yeah. The weather forecast is for good weather, no rain, which is good. I've only got short sleeves on. Because there's not really a lot of sunlight that hits you. There's a fair bit of canopy, there's heaps of trees, and yeah, there's not a lot of sunlight that hits you. Now, just I don't know if you can be able to see that. Where is it? You can't see it, but I have got. Where is it? Oh, I'll show you when I stop at the creek crossing. I'll show you some of the safety features that I have brought with me, just in case, because you never know. Especially if you're walking a track like this. It's long, it's arduous, and yeah, I'm gonna have to lift this pack up. It's on my hips, it's gone past my hips, so I have to right. I'm gonna lift this up. I think I'm going to have to go one notch on this V2 system or whatever it is. I went all the way to the top. It's probably too far, and the hip belt is just sitting a bit low. It should be sitting up on my hips, not below. It is sitting below. So the next flat tree stump, I'll change that on that rock. Yeah. And that's a really good thing about this this pack system, is that it is extremely versatile. You can cater to pretty much any person's size. You know, from short people to really tall people. I'm not really tall, but I am over 6 feet. So what am I now? 188 or something. I'm about an inch shorter than I was about, I don't know, 20-30 years ago. which the beating that my back has taken, it's not surprising. It's probably just spine compression. Now, bit of changes, alters. This tree stump's a bit rotten. Yeah. Okay, so we'll just film where we're going, and this is pretty. A bit of open woodland, eucalypt forest. This is what they talk about, and now the boots that I'm wearing is the boots that I wore yesterday, which actually did dry out overnight. When I got home, it was still sunshine, so I put them out in the sun because I did get them wet. I got impatient, but that was on the way back. I just traipsed through the creek because if you try and rock hop, you're going to slip over, I guarantee it, because those rocks are really, really slippery, even the dry ones. If you've got wet boots, if your boots are wet and you step on one of those dry rocks, just that moisture from your boots, from the sole of your boot on that dry moss, just turns it into like grease. So take like I've got a pair of I don't know what they're called, sort of these high-tech outdoor slippers things. I'll show them to you, that I'm going to use to cross the creek, and I just hang them on the back of my pack to dry out on the way. But actually this isn't feeling too bad, and I still need to go up a bit higher. So next tree stump, or when I reach the creek crossing, there's a tree stump there, but I don't want to walk into that grass. Yeah, so like I was saying on that on that first video, not the first video, the wetlands walk, there's only really two things. I said there was only really one thing, which was snakes. And well, there's two things: snakes and ticks. I'll talk about ticks in a sec, but snakes. Pardon me. So I've got the sort of pretty lightweight Columbia boots on, which are really, really comfortable. Like really comfortable, I have to say. Plus, I don't get blisters on the soles of my feet. I do get, like, if somewhere on the end of the toe or on my bunion or on the heel or something, if they're really crap boots and they're causing hot spot, yeah. But it's very, I can, number of blisters that I've had on my feet, like anywhere on my feet, I can count on one hand, quite literally, yeah. A lot of people probably won't believe it, but it's true. I'm pretty blessed in that regard. But what I was intending to wear is a pair of, I bought them years ago, and I originally, my feet must have gotten splayed out a lot more since living here up here, wearing flip-flops all the time, thongs, and your foot does broaden out a fair bit. And originally what they were was, I got them from the United States online years ago, a pair of Rocky snake-proof boots, and they almost go up to your knees, like pretty close to your knees. So they're quite high and they're waterproof. And man, I thought, they're gonna be perfect. I'll just be able to traipse straight through the creeks without even, having to change anything. But yeah, I put them on this morning. I started walking around in them, and yeah, they were even though they're size American 11s, most size 11 American shoes, boots that I get are perfect, but no, they were tight, like in the toes, because my second toe is actually longer than my big toe. Some people think that's a bit weird, but yeah, so I could feel that they were rubbing, and I was having to clench my toes to not have them rubbing. And on a 10-kilometre walk through what we're going to go through, that's no bueno. So
The Columbias weren't totally, the inner soles weren't totally 100% dry, but dry enough. So I'm going to wear them again. I'll show you what I'm going to do when I do the creek crossing. So I'll talk to you again when we get to the creek crossing, because I want to, even though I've got 3 batteries and 2 memory cards, I don't know how much filming I'm going to do, so I'll speak to you. I'll get back to you in a sec. Right, so we come out of there. Actually wasn't that far away. So this is 1.1 kilometres to the first creek crossing, Dalrymple Creek. That didn't seem like 1 kilometre, it seemed a lot less, which is good. That's a good sign. Now, I'm just going to adjust my pack. So, with this, the X1 adjustment system, it's really simple. The iHad goes from tall to short, and I had it at the top, which is obviously wrong because it's just probably need to go to that one. Like, it's, takes a bit of, it's a bit awkward. It takes a bit of experimentation to figure out exactly where your optimum spot is. So you're not going to get it perfect the first time, I don't think. But with this yoke system and harness system, whatever you want to call it, so I need to go through. No, that should be alright. I know. Yeah, I'm gonna have to put you down and do this. It's obviously sitting too low. I'm just pushing my pants down, even though these pants are a bit too big. I got them when I was still fat. My glasses are fogging up too. That's an issue. I have to leave my glasses off because they're just fogging up. So, one of the things I wanted to show you is this. That thing there. It's a PLB, personal locator beacon. So, if I get in trouble, I'll just activate that and hopefully they come and get me. But, to do this creek crossing, what I will do, put these on, take the boots and socks off and put these on, because yeah, I don't like walking with wet feet. Yeah, I don't like walking with wet feet on the ground there, so I'll take the boots and socks off and put these on. See how this goes. See if I'm get the right height this time. Yeah, this pack is so versatile. closer look at it and hit the camping area. We've got a couple of different straps that you can cinch up, make it fit. And a few. More sweaty. So, alright, sorry for being out of picture, but what I'll do is I'll roll my pants up. Yeah, looking really flash. Pants rolled up, but I got my boots here, and like that. So now I'll walk through it to the other side. How cold is that water? It's actually not too bad, you know. Yeah, because there is a fair bit of sand exposed, so you're not just walking on slippery rocks and trying to hit the sand. You get a better purchase. And, it appears that I'm the only person walking this track, at least from this way anyway. It says, in that sign it said, oh, you should get someone to pick you up at the other end. Well, unless you're going to spend the night there and then turn around and come back, you know, which is what I'm going to do. So I'll just whack the pack down. Oh, yeah, I'll just whack the pack down and where can I put this camera? I'll put my thingos back on. Where's the sun there, isn't it? So, oops, I don't know what that crap is. So, So, even though I'm carrying 3 litres on my person, 3 litres of water, 2 in the bladder and 1 in an Algene bottle, I'm still collecting water as I go, even though I know that there's another creek crossing ahead. But if I come to the end or turn around or something or other, and I'm going to be relying just on the water that's in my pack, or something happens to me, you know, God forbid. Yeah, dehydration is the #1 problem, and I don't like being dehydrated and thirsty, so that's where this thing comes in. Let's see how well it works. I've never used this before. Just spit out that first bit. Yeah. So what I'll do is, each time I come to a crossing, I'll rehydrate and leave the water in my pack away. It's good. The filter is quite a long filter, so you really do get a good flow. It's just like sucking through an ordinary straw. There's really not much resistance. Yeah. Yeah, I needed that. Yeah. Yeah. This is a good investment. Should get one if you haven't got one already. Alright, so I'll clip that to the back somewhere as well. Somewhere. And hang on. Alright. So that's the first creek crossing. But the thing is, I'm not right yet. Just together. Okay. Alright, if you see the sort of boulders, many boulders you got to traverse, tree roots and boulders, and if you're, like I said, if you're infirmed or unfit, or you know, I just saw something moving up ahead. I don't know what that. That's a bird. Yeah, don't attempt this unless you are fit and ready and willing. So I'm going to pick up the pace. I spent a fair bit of time back there mucking around. So something's going on in my back. So as you can see, this is, you can quite easily twist an ankle doing this. I assume that most people who do this walk don't carry their full camping kit with them, and just do it like a walking pack setup. I don't know whether that's a good or a bad thing. So yeah, but like I was saying before, snakes are the only really, what's going on there? Is that my track or someone else's track from you? My track from yesterday, I think. Yeah. Yeah, they're the only real serious hazard. Like, you know, unless you're really unlucky and I don't know, get bailed up by a pack of wild dogs or dingoes and they have a go at you, if they're really hungry. The chances of that are, yeah, so slim that. So we really don't have any serious predators as such, any serious terrestrial predators. They just don't really exist. They used to, but very long time ago, not anymore. So it's really the small stuff that you should be more afraid of. Alright, it's gotten a bit easier here, but stuff like ticks, not so much spiders. Yeah, I've never really had any serious encounters with spiders. Ticks, different story. I have had them. I have extremely sensitive skin, and the hair on my arms and my body is really fine. And if anything is crawling on my skin or knocks one of those hairs, I feel it straight away. And there was one time when a tick, I think, was just starting to burrow in. He was still on the surface and I ripped him off and killed him. And another time when we were in an area called Lakeland Downs, up near Cowan, around that area, and it was just it was dry and 50, like, I think the hottest it got was 54 degrees during the day. No kidding. You just shuffled around like a zombie, you know. there was no urgency about anything, because you just, you know, and I actually went down with heat stress. Yeah, it's a bit strange what happens. Started laughing and crying and just fell over, and they threw a bucket of water over me, and I was fine. So yeah, it was stinking hot, and there were just, the biggest problem in the outback is ants. I haven't really seen any ants here at all. Usually you can spot them straight away, so that's a good sign. But ants, no joke. Have a look at me now. Ants. Oh, you know what? It was 35 degrees at night. Pretty much every night we were there. We were there for almost a month. Working with the Americans, and with the Tropic Lightning Battalion from Hawaii, their artillery unit. And man, it was 35 degrees, and I had I suppose luckily I managed to buy a Gore-Tex bivy bag that had a mesh insect net. But I mean, I was just sweating, you know, I was just horrible in that bivvy at night. But I don't know how the other guys coped, because those ants, they were just murder. And every time I go in the outback, you just got to watch where you're standing, because there's just so many of them, and they'll just attack you. And you get bitten up by ants. If that gets infected, yeah, again, no bueno. So it's really the small stuff that bugs me. Mosquitoes, you know, mosquitoes are another hazard, because they are a vector for bloodborne diseases like dengue. I haven't had dengue, but I had Ross River fever, which is very similar to dengue. Oh man, I tell you, for 6 weeks I was like, I had to use 2 hands to turn a doorknob. No joke. I was that, just a general feeling of unwellness, and you go through waves of, you know, of just hot and cold sweats, and just feeling like crap. And this went on for 6 weeks, and like into that 6th week, I was in despair, wondering how long is this going to last. And yeah, luckily it did pass, and I think I've pretty much fully recovered, but I can't give blood. So when people are from the blood bank or whatever are haranguing me, I just tell them, bud, I've had Ross River, and they just, yeah, no problems, see you later. You know, they understand. You can still give plasma, apparently, but, you know. Now, I remember that year, that was a really, really wet year, and where I was working, that's where I got it, for sure. And because where I was staying, no one got any mosquito-borne diseases, but where I was working, 3 of us got something. 2 of us got Ross River virus, and 1 guy got Barmer Forest virus, which is another bloodborne virus, and which is strange, because the Barmer State Forest is in Victoria, and so that virus has made its way all the way up to North Queensland. Because the guy that got it, his nickname's Pigeon. If he's watching this, he knows. If anyone knows where I live, they know who I'm talking about. Pigeon, David, and his hands were swelling up. And he's like, my hands are swelling up. They're swollen. Just his hands. And I didn't experience any inflammation. I just experienced just debilitation and pain. I was on Advil. I was popping like, I don't know, half dozen Advils a day. I don't know what that did to my kidneys and my liver, but I don't seem to have any adverse effects with ibuprofen. Anyway, he's gone to the doctors and they've said, let's do a blood test. And it came back positive with bum forest fever. Which, yeah. What's the chances of that? I'd never heard of anyone in anywhere around where I live getting that. So there you go. It was probably, I don't know how it got up. It was the same way every other disease got up here or down here. So it's quite nice and cool. It's still humid, but it's quite nice and cool. It was pretty hot back there in that open eucalypt forest. How am I feeling? I'm feeling, this is a little bit tight, I think. Let it off a bit. No. It takes a while. This is really the first time that I've actually done a serious hike with this pack. And yeah, it's an excellent design. It's definitely a keeper. Doesn't actually have, I prefer external frame packs, but with this V or X1 system, whatever it is, Tatonka X1 system, it really keeps you, like, the pad does hit your back, but you've still got airflow between your back and the back pad, so that's good. Nothing I hate worse than having a really, really sweaty back in a pack that just sticks to your back. But yeah, these Columbia boots, they're very, very lightweight, and I was skeptical about, how tough, rugged, how long they would last, and because the inner soles in that are quite thin and they're not removable, and I tried putting some more inner soles in to give it more padding, but it was too much. They began to impinge on the top of my foot, so I thought, oh well, I'll just give them. And I've been wearing them sort of even through in town and that, when I had to go do inductions in the city and that, and so yeah, they're really good. They are really, really good. Actually, they're worth the money. I can't remember exactly how much I paid for them. I got them at Anaconda. The pants I'm wearing are outdoor pants, sort of synthetic outdoor pants with all pockets and things. They're a brand called Mountain Designs. You can definitely get Mountain Designs stuff at Anaconda because Anaconda owns Mountain Designs, or whatever the parent company, the holding company that owns the corporation, whatever that owns all of them. They're all in bed, so you'll always get Mountain Design stuff at Anaconda. But Anaconda's pretty good, they're not bad. They haven't really got the really high level, ultra, well, some of it is pretty, pretty whiz bang, but yeah, it's still affordable, which is good, isn't it? Yeah, it's good stuff. Yeah, anything from Columbia I definitely recommend. They seem to make really, really good stuff. So you just gotta, when you're doing this, so this track is pretty good, as you can see. Some of it is nice and flat, and then you hit where you're near a creek, and then it gets boulders again. I think it's bowling ball boulders again, bowling ball rocks. Whereas yeah. So the temperature's nice. It's probably around, I don't know, just probably 24, I reckon, 23 degrees, but very humid because it's a rainforest, so you've constantly got evaporation happening. Now, so I'm keeping up quite a good pace. That estimate of how long it would take to do the track of 6 hours, I don't know, 10 kilometres in 6 hours, let's see, an hour per kilometre. Nah, it doesn't take me 1 hour to walk 1 kilometre, especially if it's mostly flat like this, you know. Anyway, I'll keep talking about ticks. Yeah, they carry some nasty diseases too. Now, I don't know if the Australian authorities have come to grips with the reality that the ticks here do spread Lyme disease. The last time I saw there's a program on well, I don't watch TV anymore, but the last time I watched TV, one of the last times I saw, there was a lady who was just, not well. And all of her symptoms pointed towards Lyme disease. But the authorities at that time, I don't know about now, they refused to admit that Lyme disease exists in Australia. And but it's my honest opinion that there are definitely ticks carrying it. Always err on the side of caution, you know, if you're gonna. So really, ticks are mostly predominant in the drier areas. What's that? Nothing. Yeah, you usually won't find them in rainforest. So this is a really nice rainforest to go through. There's no mosquitoes, like zero. There are no mosquitoes, at least so far. What else is there? Like no ants, which is really bizarre. No mosquitoes, no ants. What else isn't there? Yeah, probably won't see ticks. And I haven't seen any leeches. Usually in a rainforest or in a jungle, this is a rainforest, there would be leeches, but might not be wet enough for them yet. And I don't know if there are any here, but I don't want to find out. Usually if you're doing a creek crossing and there are leeches, they'll hit you there, because they're just swimming around, you know. They latch on a fish and whatever creatures in the water. So I'm going to sign off here until I get to the next crossing, because this is getting pretty monotonous.